guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Weekly Reads, where I talk about the books that I read in the past week and the ones that I'm reading currently. So basically, before I start, I have no library. As you can see, it's just a wall, and I'm sitting on this office chair right now, which I actually don't sit on because everything's like scattered. Life is a bit disorganized right now, but don't worry, I'm getting there. I'm trying to find my organization and my tidiness amidst the chaos. My room's chaotic, everything's chaotic, life is chaotic, but we are cool. We are reaching there. Anyway, the good thing is that I've had a very nice reading month, and I've been reading like great books of recent. Like all of the books that I've read recently have been like a 4 or 5-star reads, and I really like it. It's amazing. Life is cool. Life is lovely. So let's get to the books that I finished in the past week. In the past week, I finished 3 books. The first book that I finished was The Only Plane in the Sky by Garrett Graff. The Only Plane in the Sky, An Oral History of 9/11 by Garrett Graff, which is a great documented version of the day of 9/11. Now, if you want to read this book, I highly recommend only audio, don't do ebooks, because when you listen to the audiobook, there are voices from the cockpit, there are phone calls from loved ones, there are also not phone calls from loved ones, I would say more like phone calls from the hijacked planes that you have to listen to, and it kind of like sends shivers down your spine. I think this is one of the, I would say, best books, non-fiction, that I've ever read in my life, and it's gonna have like a huge impact on me even until the day I die, and that's why I really love this book a lot. Again, only audiobook. It's a great work of documenting and collecting all of these oral histories, and I loved it a lot. So again, if you are someone who really loves like topics where like these kind of, if you really love documentaries, then you'll really love this audiobook. Highly recommend it. And yeah, that's that. The next book that I finished last week was actually the first book that I finished in the whole TBR Tackle Readathon TBR, and that's When I Hid My Caste, or Jemha Meezat Sorli Hoti by Baburao Bagul, translated from Marathi to English by Jerry Pinto. Again, I love this book. It's like a 4.5-star read for me. I really recommend it if you're an Indian. If you're someone who does not know about the caste system, I recommend that you first read up on the caste system and read up on a lot of like atrocities that happen in the name of caste in India, and then get to this book, because this book is a set of stories of those people who are Dalits, and they are basically they're kind of like trying to break the social norm. Okay, highly recommended. Again, I'm still going to be reading books on caste, and this is one of those highly recommended ones. The next book that I finished recently, I think just like 2 days back or yesterday, was The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr., which is a beautiful historical fiction, literary fiction with amazing character development, and I cannot recommend this more. If I have to make a list of World War II books that you have to read before you die, this is going to be one of them. Again, this book is kind of slow because you have to like enjoy the journey of the characters, but I love how Leonard Pitts Jr. is a plotter. He also engages a lot in character development, on how a character is at the start of the book as compared to what he or she is at the end of the book. And I really appreciate his form of writing. It's sleek, it's to the point, and you will really love it, and you will really appreciate it as well. So highly recommended, and thanks to Leo for recommending this. I loved this book, honestly. So that's that. And let's get to the books that I'm reading currently. So the first book that I'm reading currently is this one. This is The Colors of the Cage by Arun Ferreira. The Colors of the Cage for Arun Ferreira is a prison memoir where Arun Ferreira, who was wrongfully arrested in 2007, and he kind of writes all of the atrocities that he had to face at the hands of the police, and he also talks about the system in the prison in general. So I recommend this if you're an Indian, if you want to like learn more about the state of our country and the state of our jails and how our jails work. This is a very nice book to read. Now moving on, the next book that I'm completed like 25% off, but I'm not reading it at all actually. It's The Silent Patient, and I don't know, like one of the things that I've realized is that this kind of gives me like Silence of the Lambs vibes, but I really love Silence of the Lambs. Like Silence of the Lambs is like one of my favorite movies of all time. But the problem is that the author tries too hard to be Silence of the Lambs. Like it wants to be Silence of the Lambs, but it is not Silence of the Lambs. You get me? Understand me? No? Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the next book. So the next book that I'm reading currently is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Yes, finally. So change of plans. I'm kind of listening to the audiobook of Giovanni's Room, and I'm reading this for the TBR Tackle Readathon under the prompt LGBTQ only. Earlier I had said that it will be LGBTQ plus ebook because I have an ebook, but then I realized that I'm enjoying the audiobook more, so I just switched to audio and I'm just listening to it, and it's a great read so far. I know it's going to be heartbreaking, right? Because I know that's the vibe of the book, but it's beautiful so far, and yeah, I'm ready for this ride. And the next book that I'm reading is again an audiobook, and that's called Invisible Women by Caroline Perez, and it's basically a book about data bias in general, like how there's a lot of like data bias in the world. It's a non-fiction read, by the way, and like there's a data bias between men and women in general, and yeah, that's that. And I do have like some more thoughts about the book and some more like things that I've got to know about the author in general, but I still want to like finish the book and then like put my thoughts up there and then make a judgment, because it kind of like borderlines on being a turf. Anyway, moving on. I'm reading one more book, but I forget which book is it. Yes, I'm reading Les Miserables. I hope I pronounce it correctly now. Okay, it's Les Miserables. I don't think so. I pronounce it correctly, but you know which book am I reading. So basically, this is like I kind of like now put this into 3 prompts. So the ebook prompt from my TBR Tackle has been like merged over here because I'm reading the ebook of Les Miserables. Okay, let's just stick with that. I'm very sorry. Okay, and after that, so I'm reading. I'm reading that for the 3 prompts: a tome, a classic, and an ebook. So 3 of these have been like a bit like mismatching around with TBR Tackle for that matter. So yeah, that's it. And it's been a great reading month so far. I think that's because I have been listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I'm never like out of the loop. Okay, so there have been like whenever I read in general or whenever I read in like in normal terms, it's just that I kind of like tend to not read for like 2 days and then I pick up the book again. But over here that's not happening, because between those 2 days I am listening to like 1 or 2 audiobooks, right? So it's never dull for me, and that's why I love this reading month. Now again, like I want to highlight on this fact that yes, I'm trying to read less, but then the fact is I have so many like beautiful books to read, except for one of them in this mentioned list, that I just feel like reading them every day, and it's a nice reading month so far, and I'm having a nice week. But yeah, the only thing is that I'm moving, and I'm hoping for it not to be too stressful, but let's see. Okay, so that's it, and expect like more like few videos like these where I'm just like randomly sitting on an office chair. Oh, by the way, wow, I have clothes hung on the chair. I didn't even realize that. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my Sunday upload. Bye.